What about admissions assessments? So my first comment about admissions assessments is that when we created them, which was about 3 or 4 years ago, in response to the demise of AS level in England, we were worried about the impact that they might have upon applications. And in fact, they haven't deterred applications at all so far as we can tell, which is great. But that's the reason why we didn't call them tests. Somehow we thought that avoiding the word test would be friendlier and nicer. They are, in fact, tests. They're aptitude tests, subject-based. They're designed to get a sense of your capacity around core skills in particular. You sit them either in advance of interview, or, depending on your subject, you might be asked to sit them at time of interview when we call you for interview. If we do, and in most cases we will. Whichever it is, whether it's a pre-interview assessment or a post-interview, or an at-interview assessment, sorry, the really important thing that you need to do is know the format and practice against the clock. I'm going to explain that in a moment. For the pre-interview tests, it's also really important that you register. And you have to do that by the 15th of October for all of the tests other than medicine, for which the registration date is the 1st of October. You do it through school or college, and you sit the test in your school or college, but your responsibility for registering is your own. And if you don't register, that's the end of your application. So you've got to get that right. All of the tests have associated websites, and you can get to that information through the Cambridge website. There are links. And the information on those web pages includes past papers. Why do you need to know the format and practice against the clock? Well, because like anything else, it's easy to make a bit of a hash of it if it's your first time. The multiple choice questions, which are quite common in these tests, they're not universal, are not that challenging if you're able really to take your time. But in the real test, you can't take your time. You've got to go quite fast. That's one of the reasons why practicing against the clock is important. So research has shown that if you spend about 5 or 6 hours practicing with past papers against the clock, your performance will improve a bit. After that, it levels off. You get diminishing returns. But some practice is important. Find those past papers. Don't dissipate the resource by looking at them in piecemeal ways. Do them against the clock. I would guess probably sometime like late August, September, maybe very early October. So, you know, you've got a strong sense. And if you do that, you maximize your chances. Another useful thing to do in advance of any of these tests is to do some revision, make sure that your core knowledge, the technical side of things, a subject like languages, for example, or in economics, the mathematics, is fresh and up to date, and that you've refamiliarized yourself with it. So although they're aptitude tests, knowledge does come in some cases. So make sure that you do a bit of revision. How do we use them? We use them holistically alongside all other indicators as part of choosing who to call for interview, if they're pre-interview tests, and as part of making offers in the end. And that's true for both at-interview tests and pre-interview tests.